I've come down to the Rainbow Christian Centre here on Bronte Street in Hume to interview two guys who used to be hardened criminals, but something has changed their lives. Let's have a word with them. Hi Simon, what are you doing up in Manchester?
I'm wondering that myself at the moment, but we're coming up here to the Christian Centre, the Rainbow Christian Centre. We're going to tell people a little bit about our lives, how we were, what changed us and how we are now. And we're a Christian charity called Tough Talk. We're going to demonstrate some weightlifting, some powerlifting, and over that we're going to tell people a little bit about our lives and about how God has changed us, come into our lives and changed us.
Hi, what's your name?
My name's Ian.
Hi Ian, just been talking to Simon about what he's doing. You've come up with Simon, and you're also going to do the weights, are you?
That's right, yeah. I'm going to be doing an exercise called the squat, which is a powerlifting exercise. So we've got about 400 or 500 pounds here, so we're going to see if we can lift that tonight. And then hopefully if we get some kids in and some of the adults in, we're going to get them to join in with us while we tell them a bit about our lives.
How long are you up in Manchester for?
We're here for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. We've just turned up, we've just unloaded the van, and then we're driving home tonight.
Right.
Straight back to London.
Okay, I wish you all the best.
Okay, fantastic.
And we're going to see you guys in action.
Fantastic.
And we hope that there's going to be lots of kids from this estate.
That's the plan.
And this estate actually is Aquarius.
Right, okay.
They actually call it Aquarius, just to let our viewers know.
Okay. Exactly where we are, yeah.
Yeah, exactly where it is. And the church is on Bronte Street.
Right, okay. Right. Fantastic.
Okay, wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
I'll get into my life now. And my name is Simon. And I'll take you back in my life about 10 years ago when I was about 20, something or other. When I was approaching 40. I was a bit of a dodgy geezer at that time. I did anything and anything I could for money. I didn't care who I hurt or where it came from. Money was my God at that time. I wanted more and more money. And what I used to do is work with a team of guys. I'd get information, I'd crash into places and take a lump of cash. And with that money gave me access to all that material stuff in life. I had all that material stuff. I had fancy clothes, all the best names, all the best brands. I had big cars, I bought myself a great big Jeep and stuff. I could go out for meals, I'd go on holidays. I had everything I ever wanted materially with the money I was taking at that moment in time. That's when my life got so tangled up. That's when I fell into that criminality. I got bitter with the police force, and I thought to myself, I was in the gym training about twice a day, and I saw a load of guys in the gym. They all had pretty women around, they all had big cars, lots of money, and didn't work. And I thought, that's the sort of lifestyle I want. Now, back in the day, at the Arsenal, I had a great big moustache, and the guys over the Arsenal used to call me the Walrus. I used to chase them all over the terraces up to fall the seats with them. And I said to this guy I was talking to, I said, listen, back in the day I was over the Arsenal chasing the hooligans about, and they used to call me the Walrus. He said, no. He said, you was a walrus. He said, you know what? You chased me for a couple of seasons over there. He said, and I always remembered your name. Do you know something? I think that's amazing, because God has used him all them years in the future to bring me to ask some sort of questions about faith. Well, he kept talking to me about his faith. He kept talking to me about his church. Well, church wasn't really on my radar at that time, but I did go with him on Sunday afternoon, nearly 6 years ago, to his church, which was the Holy Trinity Church in Brompton, Knightsbridge. And when I walked through the doors of that church on a Sunday afternoon, the peace and the love which hit me was like no other feeling I'd ever felt in my life. Well, there was a guy, a minister there. His name was Nicky Gamble. I didn't know who he was. I said a little prayer with him at the end of the service. I made some sort of commitment to Jesus at that moment. And they kept talking to me about the Alpha course. It's a Christian course, it's called Alpha. Has anybody heard of that course? They kept talking to me about, you must go on this Christian course called Alpha. Well, I started to think about it, and I ended up going on this Christian course called Alpha. And I met lots of people, and it was really good. And they had a weekend away where they asked for the Spirit of the Lord to enter your life. Now, my life was still full of a little bit of anger. I was still hanging on to a little bit of anger and bitterness. Even though I made some sort of commitment to God, I was still hurt by what these guys had done to me. They'd taken all my chances of money away from me. I was hanging on to a bit of that. But on a Saturday afternoon, and on that Alpha course, when I asked for the Spirit of the Lord to enter my life, all them feelings of bitterness, hatred, revenge, they all got taken away. And I was left with the most incredible feeling of peace I'd ever felt in my life. Now, I couldn't stay the whole weekend because on the Sunday I was playing rugby at Twickenham. Now, for anybody who don't know, Twickenham is where England rugby team play their home games. I was fortunate enough to be invited to play over there, and in front of about 10,000 people, I went out on the pitch and it was an amazing feeling. But I'm in Manchester today to tell you that feeling was nothing compared to the feeling of peace and love I felt when the Spirit of God entered me on that Saturday night before. Now I go back to the to the Holy Trinity Brompton, and I do maybe one Alpha course a year. And at the beginning of this last year, I did an Alpha course, and I'm telling you this because there was a young lad on that course. He got into cannabis, and he was smoking a lot of cannabis, and it taken away his self-worth, made him very angry, made him very bitter, took away all his self-confidence, and he went on that Alpha course. And do you know what, on that weekend I seen somebody put their arm around him and said a few words to him, and I seen a change in that boy after that. I seen the confidence come back, I seen that cannabis addiction broken in him. And I'm telling you this because that young lad's name is Jamie, and he's my youngest son.
What's your name?
Thomas.
Thomas, and what did you think of the event today?
I thought the event was very encouraging, something to look forward to in the future with the way they was doing and performing, and a different outlook and an outlook in life.
Well, what's your name?
Phil, excuse me.
Phil, yeah. You're eating something. Oh, you're eating your food?
Almost.
Right. What did you think of these guys coming up all the way from London?
Very good, actually. I enjoy myself watching people like that, tough talk. Those who've had a bit of a background. I've had a bit of a background in the past myself, so it's encouraging to see people like that who has been up the same path as what maybe I've taken.
Oh,
it's encouraging for kids to come here and listen and to get to believe that no matter how big you are, how small you are, you can be powerful with the word of Jesus. And that's what them guys are putting across. Doesn't matter what they've done, the steroids, the violence.
So you actually believe that they need a power, which is Jesus, God, to actually help them to keep off that rugged road?
It's the only way to do it. It's the only way to do it. It's the only way I've learned. I turned to Jesus.
Did you?
I asked for forgiveness.
Could you tell us what bad things you were doing?
I've done more than what them guys have done. I've stolen, I've took drugs, I've dealt in crime, I've robbed, I've done lots of things.
And you say that
past is my past.
Right. And you say that Jesus has
made a difference.
Changed my life.
Changed my life.
Right. Thanks very much.
Okay.